Well, perfect. Okay, so one of the things that Tammy and I we were discussing, what are we going to talk about this Monday? And as you know, I mean, there are changes that are occurring all over the world, and at the end of the day, folks, change is actually a good thing. And one of the things that's very important is to keep your mind open when it comes to making changes in your life, because in many cases, those changes won't be easy at first. In fact, the more worthy of a goal that you have, the more challenging the changes, the challenges that occurs in facing your changes will be. There will be a lot more resistance you will encounter, and the thing is, you need to prepare for that. And the fact here is there's a lot of good things that Max is lining up for us in line to our beautiful model of network marketing. They're going to be adding another segment to help us increase the cash flow and the pockets of associates. So there's a lot of really, really exciting things here. And we wanted to talk a little bit about embracing change, because I know that as human beings, we tend to adapt to change. We're okay with change, but often change brings fear, and fear often creates discomfort. People tend to get a little confused, and we want to talk to you about some of the ways Tammy and I see change and how we adapt to change. What are your thoughts, Tammy?
Well, the last 3 years, I think we've all gone through a tremendous amount of change in many ways, specifically through the social media platform, knowing all of you that are on this session this evening and those who will be joining us in. We know a lot of you, and we've seen a lot of you learning and growing and really getting out of your comfort zones when it comes to the presentations online as well. We're seeing even newer people stepping up right now to embrace that change that is necessary for people to grow on a personal level. So, and that's the key. We're always going to go through changes in business and in life. And the key is how we approach it, which is really important. And that's what we're going to talk to you about this evening, because there are going to be some new things that are coming up. And Chris and I are just learning a little bit about it and some of the top leaders. And it's exciting at the same time. It's new. And yeah, so we're going to share a little bit at the end of this session about that. That's why I wanted to talk about this topic tonight, because we're always evolving, we're always growing, and it's never comfortable. As a matter of fact, if you're inconsistent when it comes to social media, doing reels, lives, it's hard to get back on when you're not consistent doing it. And some of you are doing this right now, up and down, up and down. I know I'm up and down when it comes to social media, because we always have a lot on our plate. And I always notice for myself personally, when I get back into it, it takes me longer to create it. It's frustrating, but when you get into the groove of it and you get into the momentum, you just want to do more of it. It's like anything in life and growing and learning. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, because at the end of the day, we're all personally growing. Network marketing is a personal development platform, period. And those who embrace it and not just show up to these sessions and learn, but to leave these sessions and go out and apply, or take a course on social media, and not just to learn it, take notes, but to go out and actually apply it. That's when you get your real life learnings to do that. And
I totally agree.
Grow in such a big way. Yeah,
I totally agree, Tammy. I just want to also acknowledge all of you on Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us. And again, we love your feedback, comments, hearts. Let us know how you feel. And if you have any questions or comments as we go along, same thing here. If you're happy to be joining us on our Zoom session on the back end here, please feel free to share on the comment and on the chat section. We'd love to hear your feedback. So why is embracing change so important? And changes is really an interesting thing, is that you're pushed to advance as a person through change. That is something, Tammy, you can probably relate to that. I mean, big time, I can relate to that. And you develop the ability to adjust to, new situation, and you come up with original solutions sometimes to adjust to the change and strive to accept oneself. And the fact is, together, all of these things, these experiences foster personal development. And this is how, if I see myself when I first started Max, and 16 years later, I guess, Tammy, right? 16 years later, how things has evolved. It's interesting, right? I was listening to a training I just did 6 years ago on building a strong foundation. And it's just interesting how we evolve. And all of this occurs through changes and challenges and adversities. And the thing is that you don't want to fear that, right? You want to embrace it, and you want to look at, I often say, grab the bull by the horn and just kind of face it front end and make the adjustments. And I know that Demi talked about social media, and I'm telling you, social media for me, it used to be like a big root canal. It's like, God, I got to do that stuff. I mean, how often I have to do this? But the thing is that I'm starting to embrace it more and more and more and more and more. And in fact, one thing I do recommend is, if you have the opportunity to get some help by having some, VA, virtual assistant, that can help you out. This is a change that we have adapted. So while we're super busy doing this, doing that, we have someone that we communicate with, that we interact with. I know you guys know what we're talking about here. And then from there, this complements you. And the fact is, I'm realizing that a lot of the big networkers that are making 7 figures, that's exactly what they do. And that's the reason why you see so much of them online, right? So the fact here is, you can start by doing this yourself, but it's good to have also some support. And you may also have your own children. As you know, they breed this stuff. They don't even have to think it. They just do it. It's instinctive for them. And you give them a few dollars, maybe in Canada is more than a few dollars. You know what I mean? The fact is, I mean, they'll be grateful for whatever it is. And then that could actually be something that could be very supportive on your end. So the fact is, how do you embrace change, Tammy, right?
I think what's important is when you're not at that stage when you can get a helper, then is to be organized. That's the key, is to be organized with your calendar on when you want to do your posts, and to have structure. You can pre-post as well. And we highly recommend to learn new skills. Always learn, always grow. And that's what we do. I just took a new course for TikTok, just kind of going through that, because I want to step up my sales game in TikTok. So I don't know how to do it. So what do? I take a course. So that's what everybody should do, is to learn something and apply it, learn something and apply it. And the more you apply it, the better you become. And then there's always something else to learn. So if you don't have somebody there to help you, you have to step up your game and learn the skills.
I totally agree, Tammy. And as a matter of fact, if I can recommend everybody here, listeners, and those of you that are listening on Facebook Live, that are maybe going to be listening to this call later on, or maybe to our podcast, remember YouTube. It's a very, 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 very powerful, very educational platform for you to learn. And TikTok, it's actually one of the platforms that is right now growing. Everybody knows, it's all over the news, but the reality is there's a reason for that. And embrace this particular tool, and simply go to YouTube and search, how do I use TikTok? And you're going to have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of links. Again, select the most recent one. Remember that these social media changes every single minute. So you want to try to get something that's within a month, within 2 months, within 3 months. I wouldn't go further than 6 months, because I mean, that's an eternity with this environment. And then from there, select the viewers. And that's what I did today. We'll talk a little bit about the referral marketing, the affiliate links that are going to be provided, and all of these things that Max will be introducing soon. As of December 1st, you're going to hear some wonderful news that will be an add-on to keep building your businesses, to add income in your pockets. So this is very, very interesting. And I'm preparing for that, right? And there's so many things that are available for you to learn. And Tammy talked about a course, and they're not expensive course, guys. They're like 2 digits, right? 2-digit numbers in some cases, sometimes even less. And you get a great introductory to do these things. So how do you embrace change positively? Well, there's 6 ways to embrace change positively. Number 1 is acknowledge the change, right? Don't brush things under the rug by saying, it's not for me later, whatever. Embrace it. Understand what the changes are, because they're going to be coming, and it's going to serve you well if you're prepared. Look at the situation optimistically. There's people that look at things in a positive view, and there's others that are dwelling in the negativity. And I'm telling you, it will not serve you well. So always look at things optimistically. I'm telling you, this is what I force myself to do every single morning, because it is so easy to fall into that negative drama based on what we see on TV, what we hear on TV, or right now I should say on the computer, right? On your phones and everywhere, the news, it's just nonstop drama. So the thing is that you need to turn this into positive energy. So when you look at something that you may see as challenging, just kind of embrace it, understand what it is. In fact, I think I posted something that came from Marie Curie, right? Change is often, it's an opportunity to understand. And some people fear change, but the reality is you need to understand the change. And that's what I'm telling you here. Don't stress out about stressing out, right?
Yeah, set goals, right? You want to set some goals that'll encourage you to be optimistic about the changes that you'll want to do to elevate your game. At the end of the day, we're always elevating our game. So you definitely don't want to be stressing out about any of this. I know a lot of people get overwhelmed and anxious, and you don't have to. You just
Correct.
start and take a step, right? So you want to analyze your values as opposed to your fears. What value can you bring to the marketplace? We all know what we have in our hands, and it's so powerful, and the world needs to know about it. And all we need to do is to talk about it from our hearts. And a perfect example is the campaign that was created in October, which we shared with everybody in the Philippines, was the amazing stories that you all put together, which is your story about why you're doing Max. So the product stories are powerful, the written stories for your posts, the videos, and of course that was your first. So as you do more, you get better, and and that's what we do. So these are the things that are necessary to create that positive change in your personal growth, and of course in your business growth as well.
Yes. And so back to the 6 ways. Number 4 is analyze your value as opposed to your fear. This is really, really important. Many of you have incredible value to offer, but we tend to submit to our fears, and it takes over. And this is what I'm often see in the world as I come across people, right? You have a lot of value, and embrace it. Discover what they are. Share your thoughts with others. Don't just kind of keep everything within, but share your thoughts with others. And this is the beauty about having these wonderful groups, is you can communicate. And this is one thing, folks, is it's important to get involved, right? You don't want to just be on the sidelines and watch what people are saying and watch what people are doing, but get involved and participate, exchange. And that's where you can really help someone else. In the same time, you can receive a lot of help just by hearing the feedback that someone may share with you based on their way of interpreting the situation. And be flexible in embracing change. It's really, really important. Be flexible. Don't be too rigid. Just adjust to the changes. And this is something that Tammy and I really had to adapt for many, many, many years, and dealing with different markets, different countries, different styles, different personalities, right? It's just that you need to be flexible and embrace the change. And at the end of the day, what I found is often whatever chaotic situation you may find yourself under or facing, if you just stay the course and doing the daily activities that you know you should be doing, you'll find that everything seems to fall into place naturally. It's just amazing how the world is designed. And the fact is, my point is, you don't want to get all wrapped up in a small problem. It may seem big for you, but in a big picture of your entire life, it's a tiny little problem. And again, just stay the course in doing the activities. Don't get all wrapped up in things. As you know, there's an event going on with the GoPro. I think everybody's registered here, and it starts with the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And I recommend you attend, and you come there prepared to take some notes, and not just to kind of watch it like a TV program when you're doing the dishes, but really, focus on what's going to be shared, because there's going to be a lot of great insights for you to be able to apply to add on to what is coming. And so these are my thoughts on that point. So Tammy, you want to add anything else?
Well, let's talk about inspiration, to have that inspiration when it comes to change. How do you inspire change within yourself, and of course within your teams? Because some of you on this platform already have an organization, and I'm sure that a lot of these people have been challenged over the last 3 years, with the unknown, with having to learn new skills, which we're all adapting to. And they need that emotional support as well. They need that inspiration for them to get through, sometimes just to get through a day, right? So the key is to be there for people, but you also need to be inspired to grow personally. People are watching you. People are watching Chris and I. People are watching the leaders. People are always watching people who are moving. And so if you're moving, people are going to be watching to see what you're up to. So how can you inspire change with your team? So number one, start with a specific vision for your team members. Anything that is something for them to learn that's new, find some positive inspiration for the associate and yourself to move towards that. And vision, setting goals is such a big thing. I don't know if you're focused on your goals or your vision, what you want to accomplish with all of this, but if you do have a strong why and a strong vision and goal, then you'll be more inspired to move towards those difficult things that you need to get uncomfortable doing. Okay, so that is number one, is to start with vision. And you want to go ahead with number two, Chris?
Yeah, sure. And the fact is, also explain the reasoning behind the new idea, right? We know that the economy has caused an enormous amount of inflation that has increased in cost in every single aspect of our lives. When will that end? I have no idea. But how do you adjust to that? It's by creating a new environment that could actually thrive in this environment. And this is why I'm saying what Max is coming with, the affiliate opportunity that will be added on to our business venture. And it's brilliant how they plan to introduce that. It's going to enhance the associate's position. And at the same time, it's going to give you a whole new aspect of creating another stream of income that will be added on to your long-term vision with building your business. So again, the fact is to explain the reasoning behind a new idea, right? The other one is take small step towards the changes. And this is what we're saying about, familiarize yourself. And many of you are already, but don't just stop after doing it one time, right? Some of you have done some really amazing, beautiful story that you posted there. But some of you have not done your video yet. And maybe you've done it, but it hasn't been posted. And what I really recommend in this group, and even if you're watching this training later on or from whatever media that you come across this particular training, I suggest that you look for the Active Customer Experience Facebook group. It's an open group And in fact, I have quite a few video to upload from the Philippines, and there's others that are going to be added on there. And there's already some associates from the Philippines that posted their stories in there. But I highly, highly recommend, as a small step towards the change, is you need to have a presence, not just verbally by having your posts that's described as a, with a beautiful text, but your actual video. People are looking for that, and that's how they get to learn about you. That's how you get to know you. And it's interesting, and again, is that you're opening up your presence to the world. And I recommend that you follow through and post your video there. So first of all, post it into your own platform, which is either YouTube or Facebook, and then share it into this platform. Okay. And again, it's going to be lining up for what is coming. Tammy, you want to continue from there?
Yeah, so also it's to gather and respond to teams' feedback, because it matters. Everybody has a voice and it matters, and we can learn from each other. We don't know everything, and none of us do. So that's why it's important to find out who's really good at doing stuff like this, and how we could all leverage everybody's skills and values that we're bringing to the marketplace as stories. I mean, how many times have we shared those stories? Everybody's stories we've been sharing, and people are impressed on what's going on. So people want to do it. When we shared it in the Philippines, they all wanted to follow through and do it. And so, it's creating this trend of storytelling, which is really important on the social media platform. People buy people first before they buy any product. You are your brand, number one, and what you believe in, your passion and your posture around that belief is going to get people to connect with you, or even go right to a link and want to try what you're sharing. Whatever products you're talking about, they'll want to try it. So that's where this new system is going to come into place. So yeah, we're pretty excited about it. Everything's new and it's growing, and things are evolving now. We're seeing it in, like, when we were traveling in the Philippines, everything was a standstill. Over the last few years, they're very much about belly to belly marketing. And when everybody went into lockdown and people weren't just showing up at neighbors' homes anymore, or family members, and so everybody kind of went into that rest mode and not sure what to do. So this is when you want to bring people together, start working a plan together, and encouraging each other to step up and step out, so that you can get more growth happening personally and of course with your business. So yeah, I mean, so much is going on. So number 5 was to share success stories with the company as well. We've been sharing your stories and talking to Joe Wojcicki about it when we were in the Philippines, because we had an opportunity at the event. We've been telling them what you guys were up to in your campaign. So, there's a lot of excitement that's going to take place with all of this, because once you do it, then you encourage your team members to do it, and they're going to encourage their team members to do it. And you can see how all this folds out, where we're going to have so many stories out there on social media, but also on the boards where you can just grab and go. So that's the whole concept of doing that in October. Now we got to work on our business stories, you guys. I know we've been traveling, but it's time to work on business stories. You've done the product, get your team members doing their product stories. Now it's time for you to step up, do your business stories, post and video, so that you can get your team members to do the same thing. So it's all about engagement and inspiration within your teams. And of course, to encourage innovation among the team members, always innovating, always growing, always trying something new and seeing how it's going to work out. Don't do the same thing over and over and over and over again if you're not getting results. There's no sense
Yeah,
to,
this is something really important.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've been
I
playing
mean,
on social media
yeah,
for quite a while. Some platforms work so much better for me, and I'm sure those of you who are playing different platforms, you know what I'm talking about when you're checking your insights and your engagement. I mean, you got to do what works.
yeah, this is very important, is you need to step back and start evaluating what you do and see, are you getting any results in doing these things? And this is the point that we talked about, is you need to constantly reevaluate what you're doing, and is what you're doing not working. It doesn't mean that what you're doing does not work. You may have to do a tweak to it, right? And this is the thing, you don't want to just repeat the same things and expecting different results if there hasn't been any results at all. So keep that in mind. The thing is, how do you achieve successful change, right? How do you achieve successful change? Well, the 5 steps that we want to talk to you about briefly about that. One is prepare to organize your organization for change. This is exactly what we're doing here. This is what we did as we were in the Philippines, and this is what we're going to do when we go to Africa, right? Prepare the organization for change. And the changes are actually not dramatic change, because it's like it's an add-on you can choose to ignore. We suggest not to ignore it, because I think that you're going to be walking away from a great opportunity financially, and maybe even an opportunity to bring back some folks that might have been as a customer consuming, that dropped off. But through that system, it might, you might be able to get them back on. So there's going to be some really great things that are going to be introduced soon, but prepare the organization for change. That's number 1. Number 2 is craft a vision and a plan for change. As Tammy stated earlier, right? You're going to start with a specific vision, help people see the full potential. Because, for example, there's some markets that, like, for example, in Dubai, right? Network marketing, it's not a model that we can get approved, but products can be approved there. Imagine. Right. So there's a lot of things that are going to be introduced as we move forward in different markets like England and different parts of the world, that, the products are approved, but the model is not approved yet, or whatever. So it doesn't mean that means you can start making money right now with that system. So there's some really good things that are going to be introduced. So craft a vision and plan for change. Number 3 is implement the change. And this is what we're doing. This is what we're initiating by starting, first of all, planning, letting you know what's going on. And then we're going to be implementing the change. Tammy are adapting, learning, buying course. We're adapting to all of these so we can be prepared for the affiliate aspect of building our business in line to our network marketing, our business model. So again, implement the change. Number 4 is embrace change within the company's culture and practices. So this is what I'm saying, is that you want to make sure that what you implement is in line with what the company has made available for us, and work within that context. When you start creating things outside of that context, that's when things become difficult. It's like trying to build a business in a market that's not open. It's very hard. It's very expensive. And you don't know if they're going to receive the product, and how are they going to get paid. So there's a lot of things that is important to keep in mind, that I think that the affiliate will actually open a whole lot new doors that were closed to us before, right? And the other thing is what we talked about is review progress and analyze results. Very important. You want to analyze your results and revisit what it is you're doing so you can tweak it, so you have the exact right temperature. I don't know if you heard my expression often saying that, is to get the right temperature. And now things are starting to flow, business starts to come in, and that's when you know you're in the right path, and then you keep evolving from there. What are your thoughts, Tammy, as we end?
Yeah, plan, do, review. That is something that we all have to do consistently, especially towards the end of the month, doing the final numbers. You need to plan earlier in the month. Do as much work as you can earlier on, so the stress levels are not high towards the end of the month, for those of you that are desiring to reach some goals. Not everybody wants to build this business in ways that it could be a lifestyle change. Mm-hmm. Maybe they want to, but they're not willing to do what it takes to get that. and it's okay. I mean, not everybody's the same, right? But for those of you who are really striving for it, there's a strategy involved in all of this. There's discipline involved in this. There are certainly adjustment and changes that need to be implemented as you're working your game plan. Because if you're not getting the results that you want, you got to sit back and evaluate that. Talk to your leader, find out how they could bring some value to, the changes that you could implement so that you could have better results in your business. Because it could be something just small that needs to be tweaked.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Now,
so there's, yeah.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, folks, just to kind of tap into, there's not much that we can share. Lucy, you mentioned what time. I have no idea what time. All I can tell you is we were told that December 1st is when it's going to be introduced. There's going to be a letter that's going to be sent to everybody with some great information. And when that happens, then we'll adjust. So it'll be plenty of time for everybody to adjust. So there's no need to panic. As I said, you just want to look at what's going on, understand what's happening, and don't panic. It's just an adjustment that it's actually great news, is to adjust to the way the inflation has kind of driven us to in directions that we need to take to stay at float, and not just at float, but to be able to thrive. And in fact, the affiliate aspect of the business is something that is massive. The growth that's occurring since the pandemic, it's the numbers are in the billions and hundreds of billions of dollars. So you just want to take a little portion of that, and that's it. You're set for life, right? So that's the thing, is to adjust to those. And the one thing I can tell you very quickly is that it'll be very mobile friendly. It'll be a revamped environment. It'll be very easy for people to be able to purchase. It'll be a simplified shopping experience. It'll be a modern payment method. I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're going to use PayPal. I have no idea. None of this stuff is available. All I'm telling you is we're preparing to adapt to this extension to keep putting money in the associates' pockets. So it's
still
really
working on it as well.
yes,
As
yes.
Chris is sharing information, it's not 100% solid rolled out in some of the stuff that they've shared with us. They were just getting our feedback in the field, but just keep in mind, it's plus. Always think add on, okay? Add more money, okay? It's not going to replace the
No.
network marketing
At all. In
model
fact, it's going to
at
embrace
all,
it.
at all. There's going to be no changes at all in the network marketing compensation plan, none whatsoever. They've just added on something new, and they're going to test the market. Like, there's a lot of companies out there, network marketing companies out there, that are already doing this and doing
Yes, they
really
do.
well with it.
And as a matter of fact, there's others that are doing that, and
Yeah, really
and
well.
everybody's is expanding in that area. So we don't have all the specific. The one thing I can tell you is I believe it's going to start in the United States, but it doesn't mean that you need to be a United States resident. You could be anywhere in the world building in the United States. That's what I'm aware of. And again, I'm not going to go more than that because I don't want to mislead you, because we don't have all the facts and all the details. Okay. But yes, there will be eventually, once this expands and explodes, then that's going to open the opportunity for Dubai, England, and all the different areas. But because I said Dubai and England, I'm not saying this is what we're doing now. So it'll be in the US, I believe, at the beginning. But what this does, it brings an opportunity to associates in different parts of the world to be able to tap in into building a customer base in the United States and get paid with the equivalent US dollars. So this is really, really exciting. And that comes to the end of our session here this evening here, folks. And really the message for tonight is embrace change and just learn to understand what the changes are. And I'm telling you, it's all going to fall into place. And again, I wanted to underline what Sammy stated is our model is not changing. It's a beautiful model. We call it network marketing. It will always be. What we're doing is we're adding an extension to that so associates could expand their businesses and create more income for themselves. So that comes to the end of this evening session. And Tammy and I had a really, really good time. Some of you might have followed our posts. We started in the Philippines, and it was a lot of fun. And of course, it's always intense because we have obviously the jet lag that we have to deal with. We have well, at the time was 12 hours. Now it's 13 hours difference.
Could use some ATP right now.
Oh yeah.
It's going.
Yeah, and basically our strategy for this every time we travel is the Philippines is it's an extended family of ours, as Africa is. And we've known this team for 14 years plus now. And the fact is we haven't seen them for 3 years. It's one of the reasons why we stayed there for a long period of time, because we usually go there at least once a year. For 3 years we didn't go. So we did a lot of provinces, and one of the cities that we were in had a typhoon. You wouldn't believe there were water everywhere. In fact, we had a room expecting about 140 people, but only 40 people were able to make it. And the 100 people had to turn around because the bus couldn't go through the water, the bridge that was overwhelmed with water. So it was
And the
one of
ceiling
those
was
situations.
falling down when we were presenting because it was so full of water.
It just happens, it's life. But the thing is that we're with people we trust, and we had a really, really, really good time. And then, we went to Cebu, and after that we went to Subic, we went to Olongapo. So some of you that may make sense, for some of you it may not. It's just a wonderful, wonderful time we had with the field leadership. I know that Bernie did a great leadership session with his team. It was phenomenal. It was really, really good, great ideas. Gwen and Joe, we had an opportunity to spend some great time with their team, and the Lovitos, and also tell me what's the team there with Ruby
in Tagagaru.
No. I was talking in Cebu because there's two teams that I wanted to recognize, and Taragaro, that's where the typhoon was with Venus and James. It was phenomenal, and they're just a wonderful, wonderful couple, just so lovable. And of course, after that, once we were done this, then we went to Barcelona, Spain. Folks, I don't know if some of you actually have seen the Game of Thrones. I don't know if anybody have seen the Game of Thrones. Raise your hand if you've seen the Game of Thrones. Okay, season 6, episode 8, it was the Walk of Shame. I don't know if you remember that one, when the
Now
queen
you're
had
going to
to
go back to see it.
Okay, Irene, you saw it? Well, we actually stood in front of that church. It was really, I mean, when you see it on TV, it's so much bigger than when you see it in real life. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So it was a wonderful experience. And the one thing about Barcelona, Spain, folks, the prices are so affordable. It blew my mind how inexpensive things were. We're talking really high-end, good quality stuff. But then we went to Paris. That was a different ball game, but it was a lot of fun. It was a really, really good experience. And we just enjoyed, and really our purpose for going to that extension trip is really to bond with the core leadership in the Philippines. And Tammy and I felt so privileged, and we did just that. So it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. So that's kind of the summary of our Asian tour and European tour. But I highly recommend, folks, if you want, right now the euro is almost at par. Like I think it's at $1.05 when we were there. So I'm based on the American dollar, guys. And so it's very inexpensive, right? Compared to $1.50 or whatever. So it's just a wonderful experience. And I really, really recommend for you to, if you have an opportunity to go to Spain or Paris, it's just a wonderful experience. So Tammy, what are your last thoughts as we end the call?
Yeah, so for those of you who are going to be attending, we're going to do our Christmas party at the condo here, and we're going to set up the Zoom session as well while people are in the unit. We are going to take a break, and we're going to go out and have a lunch, one of the local restaurants here. I think we're going to probably go with the Eden restaurant.
Yeah, it's a
For
nice
those
place.
of you who know the Eden, It has a good variety and of prices and food. So you can go to, I'll send you the link in the messenger group.
Mhm.
So you can check out the restaurant to have an idea. But we're gonna start out with just some hors d'oeuvres, just hanging out while everybody's coming together. And then we're gonna go out and have lunch, and we're gonna come back and have some cake and coffee, tea, and those of you who want to drink and want to stay, you're welcome. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mary Paul and everyone, we'll give you all the details as we move forward in the groups here. And again, Tammy and I just love to recognize and have fun during the Christmas time or the holiday times for some of you. And it's really an opportunity to gather together. And Eden is it's a reasonable price. The food is phenomenal, and it's walking distance from our place. And like I said, we can have these hors d'oeuvres at the beginning at our place. We'll eat there. We'll come back for a beautiful dessert, and then from there we'll part ways to make sure you have an opportunity to get home. And
So just so you know, there's some questions in the chat, Chris. Yes, Irina, it is December the 10th, which is the second Saturday in December. So December 10th. And a flyer, did the flyer already go out in the messenger group yet, Chris? Do you know?
The flyer, yes, the flyer's been posted,
Oh,
but
yeah,
we'll
that's right.
clarify. We'll get more details. Now we're back in North America. We can start focusing on we had a bit of catching up to do, but all the questions and everything will be answered. It's pretty straightforward, and many of you have already came here, so it's straightforward. And when it comes to Mexico, Mary Paul, I do not have information as of yet. And ATP update. Tammy, do we have any update for the ATP?
I was talking with Olivia, and they were talking about the end of November. So we'll keep you posted on that, because obviously it'll go into the US first, and then US ships within to be able to get our ship.
Canada, and a wonderful country, takes 2 weeks to get things approved,
Yeah.
and then we can move forward. So
Yeah,
anyway, we'll keep
as
you
of
posted.
Mexico, yeah, so as of Mexico, they are going to be dealing directly with a shipping company who's going to be shipping within Mexico in
Yes.
same day shipping. Borders will be placed through the US. So that's what I have up to now. So we're waiting on the product to go over to Mexico. They're sending a shipment over. So as we have the news, we will let everybody know,
Yes.
but definitely start talking to people in Mexico, because it's definitely
It's
gonna
a
be
definite.
here.
Absolutely.
At the end of this year, it's going to be rocking and moving.
Okay. So the rest of the questions, if you need some clarity, just let's do it into the Canada USA group, and we can attend it to that. We can attend your question there. Okay. So
Yeah,
everybody have
just
yourself a wonderful evening. Tammy, something
quickly,
else?
Chris, yeah, Marie Paul was asking if it was Sunday the 11th. No, at first we were going to do the 11th because we were going to do it downstairs in the party room. The 10th wasn't available. The 11th is also not available. So we're just going to do it here in our unit for the 10th, because people, some will want to stay and have some fun.
Yes, absolutely. There's no kind
Is
of
everybody
deadline.
okay with that? If you're coming, just in the reaction, just put a thumbs up if you're attending.
Yeah, or just send Tammy a message into her WhatsApp group,
Look.
and we'll go from there. So the call is being recorded, Tammy. So we're going to end on this note.
All right.
And so everybody, thank you so much for attending. I hope you enjoyed this session, and we look forward to see you very, very soon at our Christmas party if you're able to attend, and we'll go from there. Otherwise, we'll see you in webinars or whatever event we attend in the future. Everybody have a great, great, great evening, and thank you for attending, and bye for now. Bye.
Bye, guys.